Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. When I was 11, my dad divorced my mom and married his coworker, Jeanette. Now, Jeanette was 29 when he married her. Dad was 35. I didn't hate her or anything. We just weren't or aren't close. It has been 13 years since they got married, and they've had 3 more kids together. The youngest was born last year. I have this friend, acquaintance, Matt, 24, with whom I started a new business venture 3 years ago. Matt has always been a player. He is extremely charming, but strongly anti-monogamy, and has a new potential girlfriend every 2 weeks. Matt met my dad's wife around 2 years ago at the launch of our first store. That's how their affair started. Matt refuses to call it an affair. According to him, it was one of the many women he regularly saw. It continued all throughout her pregnancy and birth. Eventually, my dad's wife announced that she wanted a divorce and expressed a desire to start a new relationship with Matt. She left Dad and the kids and showed up at Matt's apartment with her luggage in tow. Matt noped the duck out of that situation and told her that he didn't want her. It was a mess. After numerous therapy sessions and paternity tests, my dad decided that he will take her back as they were struggling during that time. Now, Matt's personal life isn't my business, and I don't care who he hooks up with, as long as he's not messing with my sister or my mom. My dad told me to cut off Matt as a friend and to quit the business altogether. I refused. His family circus is not my problem, and I'm not willing to quit my successful venture because my friend had a brief consensual relationship with my dad's wife. My dad's family thinks I have no respect for my father. I don't think it's about respect. I'm not willing to kiss my success goodbye because of drama that doesn't concern me. Am I the a-hole? Well, I think OP's dad is a hypocrite for forgiving his wife, yet expecting OP to cut out Matt. How does he rationalize putting the blame on Matt? Matt sucks for using women, giving them false hope, and sleeping with someone he knows is married. OP's dad's wife, of course, sucks for having an affair. OP's dad sucks for forgiving her and blaming only Matt. OP kind of sucks for the company he keeps. I'm a big believer that your friends are a reflection of you. Do you agree with that, guys? And now let's hear the community's opinion. Throwaway says, not the a-hole. Sorry, the last sentence killed me. Your father's family think you don't respect him, but they are okay they are back together? She doesn't respect him. The only reason she came back was because her lover rejected her. Seriously, don't waste your time with these people. Cricket says, not the a-hole. If he can forgive his wife and take her back, he can forgive Matt and get over it. Lord of the Low End says, everyone sucks here. Your dad is a pushover. You have no loyalty to your family, and Matt and the stepmom are disgusting snakes. Y'all deserve each other. When we first met my now sister-in-law 2 years ago, she told us she was in nursing school at a university that is notoriously difficult to get into. It was actually my first choice. I ended up at a different school and I graduated in December 2018. Woot! I had researched her program extensively before I applied to it, and sister-in-law told me a lot of things that didn't add up. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I felt I owed it to my brother to make an effort with his wife. Over the next year, I sent her articles and internship opportunities she might be interested in. She posted pics of her study grind and even her semester grades on Instagram. She and my brother live about 5 hours away. When she comes in, my entire family brags about her. They see how hard I work and the sacrifices I've made and assume that she's doing the same. Sister-in-law has generated a lot of drama when people have been unable to accommodate her schedule. But she's under a lot of stress, and they just brush it off. Last Christmas, my mom wanted to get sister-in-law some compression socks and other nursey things, so I pulled up the handbook I had downloaded from when I was looking at their program. I see if there is a certain color socks mentioned in the dress code. I couldn't find anything, so I went to the school's Facebook to look at their uniforms. I stumbled across photos of each incoming class, and of course, I looked for sister-in-law. Nowhere to be found. I told my mom that something was weird. My brother was deployed most of last year, so I'm not sure if he knows what is actually going on. To be perfectly frank, He's a little dense anyways. I love him to death, but man. I do know she got all her books, tuition covered by the military, and they both decided she should quit her job to focus on school full-time. My parents even covered some of their bills. When sister-in-law was gifted the socks and a monogrammed clinical bag, she confessed that she had failed and would now be graduating in December 2018, same time as me, instead of May 2018. She hadn't started clinicals yet, 3 semesters into the program. I knew that it absolutely was not my place to call her out. I went along with it. In May of this year, I decided to send her a letter of encouragement for finals. So I looked up the exam schedule, publicly available online. She said thanks, but finals were the previous week. Then she blocked me on Instagram and restricted her Facebook so I can only see public posts. My mom and brother said, "Oh well, they reschedule a lot of things in her program." I was livid, so I called the school, didn't impersonate anyone, just tried to sound professional, and asked point blank if they could confirm she was a student. Nope, never has been. The last week of November, my family is doing a mega holiday. Because of everyone's schedule, including my brother's deployment, that will be Thanksgiving, mini Hanukkah, and a slightly premature celebration for my graduation. It has been decided that my sister-in-law and I will be the guests of honor at the nursing-themed gathering. We have family flying in from all over the country, so my mom went all out, rented a space, photographer, professionally done cake with both our names. All that to make sister-in-law feel special and included. What in the hell do I do? You play along, and just know that she will actually be twisted up in knots on the inside with the knowledge that she is a huge fake, and she will be constantly scared that she will be found out as a fraud. There is zero upside to attempting to out her on this. You will look petty and selfish and spiteful if you aren't believed, and you will look pretty selfish and spiteful if you are proven right. Okay, so I and my current wife Jane met each other at a grief group. I had lost my wife and unborn child, while she lost her sister and husband in a car accident. I guess we hit it off because we really understand where each other is coming from. We had gotten married in 2017, and life was actually great. I went to visit Jane's loved ones on their death anniversary, and she did the same with me. We helped each other heal in many different ways, and for the first time in a while, I felt the type of serenity that I had before the tragedy of my first family. I and Jane were very happy, and after a while, she told me that she wanted children. I thought it was a great idea, because to me, having children is a blessing that I was denied. However, months into the pregnancy, she seemed off. I chalked it up to pregnancy hormones, but in hindsight, that should have raised my suspicion. She was going out a lot for a pregnant woman, and I don't mean like once every 2 days. She was going out every day, but in her defense, she always came back in an hour. So I would assume that she's going out with friends, to shop, look at clothes for the kids with her friends, or to her parents' place. Fast forward to when Jane tells me that she thinks her water broke. I called my parents to have them meet us at the hospital while I rushed her to the hospital. After I finish parking, she drops the bomb on me that she's been sleeping with 2 others, and there's a chance that any one of us could be the dad. I was absolutely devastated. I felt like someone had punched me in the jaw. I told her that I wanted a divorce, even if the kid was mine. She tried to argue, but I told her to use her energy on giving birth and not this. After a while of being outside the delivery room, a nurse informs me that Jane gave birth to a stillborn. I went inside as my dad and her dad left. Only 3 people were allowed inside. And she's a blubbering mess inside. But honestly, I couldn't care less. Her parents and my mother are inside trying to console her about the baby. My mother gets upset with me that I'm not being sympathetic to my wife, who's crying about our kid. I let her know that she was cheating on me, and there's a potential that the kid isn't even mine. My mother and mother-in-law got super upset with me and started calling me all sorts of names, but I just walked out and left. Jane came home the next day. She told me that she was upset and just wanted me to be here for her. We got into a huge argument, but she struck a nerve when she brought up my unborn baby that died with my first wife, and that I should help her get through it because I have experience. I was so upset with her that I told her to go to her parents' house because I don't want to deal with her and I might do something regrettable if she stayed. Jane started crying uncontrollably and begging to stay with me, but I didn't budge. My mother very angrily called me a couple of hours later to berate me for treating a woman who recently lost her child. I didn't want to hear it, so I hung up. My father called me minutes later and calmly told me that while he can understand why I reacted that way, I shouldn't treat someone so vulnerable like that. I do feel awful because I can't understand what it's like to lose a kid. But this woman cheated on me with multiple dudes. Even though I could possibly not be the father, I am grieving because I did want the kid, and this is the second time I've been denied the chance to be a dad. I really need help. Any and all advice is welcome and appreciated. Losing a child is hard, but she cheated on you with multiple dudes and expects you to comfort her within hours of her telling you. I would have done the same thing. She made a conscious choice to cheat on you multiple times without thinking of your feelings and wants you to care about hers. You deserve better. This happened a couple years back, but finding this subreddit made me realize I haven't fully healed. I will keep it as short as possible. Backstory. Mother-in-law and I both worked at AM/PM. Different stores, same owner, which meant workers from different stores often knew each other. Mother-in-law is close to the owner, which is how I got my job there through her recommendation. I have a coworker and her sister who worked at AM/PM as well. One day, said coworker told me if we can grab coffee after work because she has something important to tell me. She did Herbalife, which meant I thought she was trying to recruit me, but she's my friend, so I reluctantly agreed. Fast forward after work. We sat down, and she told me that she is only telling me what she's about to tell me because she respected me as a friend. She tells me that her sister worked a shift with my mother-in-law and told her that she should go for her son, my husband, because she wants a Hispanic daughter-in-law. I'm Filipino. She states that it doesn't matter if he's already in a relationship because she thinks we won't last. My coworker's sister is a happily married woman who personally knows me. Of course, she got offended and told her how disrespectful it is to her son, to me, and to her for even offering to hide a relationship with her son behind my back. She and my sister-in-law fell out after coworker sis called her out. My coworker promised me not to mention anything to my husband because my mother-in-law has a reputation of getting people that she doesn't like fired due to her close friendship with the owner. To make sure they both keep their jobs, I complied. I was so hurt because I have no control over my race, but I love my husband so much, so I still kept trying to get along with mother-in-law. The next day, coworker sis and mother-in-law had another shift together. Since they didn't get along, mother-in-law started acting like her boss, despite of mother-in-law not being a manager and having the same position as coworker sis. It got so bad, mother-in-law threw a cardboard box at her, hitting her on the head and making her fall while she was making hot dogs. This caused coworker sis to quit, which meant I can now tell my husband what his mom did behind my back. He got super mad and told her that she'll lose another son and will move far from her if she tries to meddle again. Husband has a bro who cut off all contact with family because mother-in-law tried to make his bro cheat on his wife with his ex-wife. Husband's sister moved across the country away from mother-in-law because she didn't approve his sister marrying a black man. My husband and I, like coworker sis and her husband, are still both happily married. We just laugh about it now and make sure to keep boundaries from mother-in-law. She still wonders why we don't visit. The mother-in-law is making a bed of nails, and she dares to wonder why she doesn't get visitors either. I hope you and your husband still have a wonderful life regardless. My 32 fiance, 32, went on a road trip with her friends. I know all the friends she went with, and am pretty good friends with some of them. While on this road trip, she called me just to let me know everything was fine, and that she and her friends would go to a club. The next day in the morning, my fiance's friend Stephanie called me and told me she saw my fiance go upstairs with a guy. According to her, she had been to this club before, and there was a hookup spot upstairs. This is what she told me. After 5 or 10 minutes, my fiance came down, and when she asked him what was going on, my fiance said nothing. So she got suspicious and went upstairs and saw the guy absolutely wasted. After this, I called my fiancée and asked her about this. She told me she was drunk and messed up, but nothing happened, and she got out of the situation as soon as she realized what was happening. To me, it categorizes as cheating. And on that phone call, I told her I was breaking up with her. I didn't really listen to her after this and hung up. The same day, but later, her family came over because my fiancé called them and explained her side of the story to them. They acknowledged that what she did was messed up, but since she stopped, this is salvageable, and I should not throw away 10 years like that. The only reason I'm thinking about it is they were genuinely comforting, aware, and not at all intimidating. Stephanie called me at night again and told me that my fiancé is extremely mad at her and trying to get her kicked out of the group for being a snitch. I think Steph did me a solid here, and I am grateful to her, even if she is her friend first. She told me. Right now, I don't know if I should dump her or not. The point where she took everything seems like cheating to me. The act itself is just an artifact, and the things leading up to it are just as important. I know for a fact that I cannot trust her. Even if there is some trust left, it is not enough to be engaged to her, let alone getting married to her in January of next year. She messaged me saying that I'm making it a bigger deal than it is, and that I should be grateful that she is this aware, even when drunk, to not cheat on me. Getting drunk is a ducking choice, and I'll not really take it as an excuse. She is on her way back, and I don't know if I should just end it or try to work it out. Any advice? She wasn't going to tell you. Her friend did you a solid, and now she's mad at her friend because there is probably more that no one knows but her. I'm sure she told her family the PG story. Based on what your friend told you, your fiancé went up those stairs with full intentions of doing something. If your friend went up after your fiancé came down and the guy was passed out, your fiancé didn't stop it. The guy's inability to stay conscious stopped it.